Christmas tree or some shit like that on there, right?
Yep.
I sent you the question.
Yes, sir. Yeah. What's going on, world? How you doing, everybody? Yeah. Yes, we are in early this week, primarily. What's going on, Ivana? Is that oh, Ivan? What's up, Ivan? Yeah, yeah. Primarily because it's holiday week. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving for a lot of people that celebrate it, and my partner and I decided that we wanted to make sure that we at least gave you guys your 2 days. So
I don't know why this shit looks so off, man. I'm over here being
yeah.
specific and shit.
Yeah, it's that one. It is a yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's leaning for the other camera. That's why, because it's like the other camera's there, so you like let me lean.
I'm just fucking with me a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, anyway, welcome to another episode of Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking, CMCT. My name is Troy Skinner. I am your host. Sitting next to me is my co-host,
Antonio Dean.
the man with the plan and the devilish smile. So yeah. So like I said, we decided that we were going to have a second show. Normally our show format is Tuesday and Thursdays, but Thursday would be Thanksgiving, and a lot of you guys are not going to be.
Y'all gonna be sleep.
Yeah, you're gonna be out of sleep
and then sleep.
have the itis. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be thinking about listening to somebody on Instagram unless you have some private time to yourself, and you'll be looking at other things, maybe movies with the family and stuff like that. And
Private time is probably gonna be sleep
yeah,
after eating.
yeah, after eating,
That's
because
it.
people eat early on Thanksgiving Day.
Mm-hmm.
They don't eat late like how most people do. And then they eat several times.
I was about to say some people ride around and pick up plates and shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
the plate route. They got a plate route.
If I was in California, I would definitely have a plate route.
What's going on, E? You didn't text me back, but it's all good.
Wow, Eric.
Yeah, I'm putting him on blast. You're still loved, brother. You're still loved. So we're here today. Normally, our Thursday format is we're talking about pop culture and things going on in the news. And as you know, there has been some things going on in the news. We're going to recap on two situations that have happened. And if you have any other suggestions, if you're watching us and you'd like to chime in, you're definitely welcome to do that. If you're traveling and you're just listening to us and you don't have the ability or the option to chime in and to respond to us, that's fine. We're here and we're going to make it happen. So we're at the point of debating whether we're going to go 2 full hours today or just an hour and just keep it short. But yeah.
Wing it and see what happens.
Yeah. Your involvement tells us which way to go. How about that?
Sure.
All right.
Or we'd sit and talk shit. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. So hey, Austin, what's going on, man? Welcome, brother. Welcome. I know you got a lot of clients canceling, man. The trainers, personal trainers during the holiday season, it's the hardest job on the planet. You know why? Because people tend to cancel a lot more. They cancel the day before the holiday and they cancel the day after the holiday. And as a personal trainer, what's going on, brother? As a personal trainer, when you're training people, for all my personal training brothers out there, man, I'm so sorry for you because I know how this goes with all the cancellations you're going to get today. Last minute cancellations.
No love and
no
miss money.
Yeah. Well, no, see, now that's the difference. Like the smart personal trainers, they make sure they get their money irregardless, right? But then some of them do get paid according to the session, which I'm pretty sure that's what Antonio's talking about. So that sucks. But they will find every excuse in the book. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to make it, but my flight got pushed or something like that, and I had to take the dog to I had to take the dog to the borders, the dog border, or to my friend's house to take care of them because I'm going out of town, and just things just got crazy. But I'll make up my session when I get back. You know.
And some people never get back to it until after the new year.
Right, right. They find excuses all the way up to the new year.
They gotta have their New Year resolutions and all of that silly shit.
Austin said after Halloween, it's almost like the year is a wrap. Yeah,
it's already over.
Yeah, I
for
guess
most people.
Yeah, but that's why that's that big explosion during January through March, where everybody's got their New Year's resolutions and they're looking to get back in shape. Yeah, man. You know, the smart people get their workouts in no matter what. So I know you said your nephew's coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are gonna be working out.
Oh yeah. The whole weekend.
Yeah.
Whole weekend we'll be working, teaching that fool some termination tactics.
Yeah, Steven, welcome, Steve. Yeah, man. Steven, big things coming your way. Big things that you're doing. I've been seeing in regards to the work that you did in Marcus's project. So I'm very, very happy for that, man. I'm looking forward to more things happening for disabled actors in the game, and you're pushing the way for it. So shout out to Steven. Yeah, in regards to that, man, Mr. Tingus.
What is it he's doing?
He is handicapped. He's a disabled actor.
Okay.
And, you know, he's in a chair and everything, and he gets roles, man. He's a brilliant actor to be in that position of making stuff like that happen. So it's always good to see him getting his awards, and he makes it out to those events, man. Nah, man, he shows everybody there's no excuses, man. I met that brother through Danny Royce and Pichanda DuBose. They would have events, and Steven's always there supporting anybody and everybody in the black community when it comes to acting. So shout out to you, Steven, man. Big things hopefully coming your way even more into 2023. So, you want to list off today, or? Okay, this is his moment, everybody. So,
well, guys, after yet another segue that we're gonna improve upon in the future.
I'm still working on it, man. But I did do okay. Well, when we get to that point, you're gonna see that I did do what I said I was gonna do. So.
All right. Well, you know, he's a good man. I'm not saying he's not a good man.
I'm decent. I'm fair.
I'm just saying, you know, segues are important.
Yeah, they are.
You know.
Yeah, they are.
So it's very important that we make our segues very personal.
I'm debating more on should I do it more, you know, upstanding, or more like, hey, yo, so what's up? Like, my boy, he's about to read this off. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, we can keep it subtle. I'm a subtle kind of guy.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay.
And if any of you out there would like to reach us in subtlety, you can inbox us on our Instagram at CMCT_show.
Hey, Joan.
We are also on Facebook at CMCT Show. We also go live on our Facebook as well, or not on the CMCT Show Facebook yet, but we're currently live on my Facebook at Antonio Dean Smith the 4th. It's public. You don't have to friend me. You don't have to follow me. You can if you want to. It'd be nice. I'll take the numbers. But we're live there on Facebook at Antonio Dean Smith the 4th. It's public, so no need to follow or friend. We're also on YouTube. I would say Tuesdays and Thursdays, but that's what we're gonna follow back up next week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. On YouTube Live at CMCT_show. You can also find us on Twitter. Tacking or
tweaking, twitting,
doing something,
twatting,
with T's, tittling, you know, whatever, at CMCT_show. You can also email us if you really want to get subtle and reach out to us off the record in silence. Maybe not behind closed doors, because I don't want this to turn into a legal
we don't need that
situation.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can email us with ideas, topics, and opportunities, promotions, sponsorships at cmctshow@gmail.com. We are on TikTok. Sometimes.
Today, that's what I'm saying.
He did post on
Yes.
TikTok.
So
All right.
we are on TikTok officially. Yay! I literally had to sign back in.
Well, shit happens. Our first TikTok post. Go to TikTok. Watch our comedy skit at CMCT_show.
Yes.
Please and thank you.
Yes.
Now, most importantly to me, if you go to google.com and you click in the search box and you type in Linktree, space bar, hit the space bar. Do not type in space bar. That would be counterintuitive. Hit the space bar after you type in Linktree and type in CMCT show. Our Linktree page will pop up. And when you go to our Linktree page, you will see that we are offering some services. The services that we're currently offering, we have a $20 option, which will get you a 20-minute video, a 2-minute video, personalized directly to you, whatever it is that you'd like us to talk about or address or motivate you, some affirmations, whatever it is that you like. Don't get cheeky, you know what I'm saying, and request things that are ungodly. But go ahead and reach out to us there. That's $20 for a 2-minute personalized video. And then we're also offering venting sessions, is what we're calling it, for legal reasons. You know what I'm saying? We're going to offer you perspective. We're going to offer you guidance, offer you direction. Not give, not tell, not mandate. We're just offering.
Yeah.
What you do with it, 100% up to you. And that's at $59 an hour during the holidays, up until January 1st, wherein we'll go back to the $100 an hour rate. So if you got anything you need to get off of your chest, things in your life you're trying to figure out, you need a virtual shoulder to cry on, you feel what I'm saying? Go ahead and reach out to us. Wow. That is very untimely.
Yeah, it is.
And then lastly, if you're someone who is an artist, an entrepreneur, business owner, CEO of something, you have a brand that you want to promote, merchandise that you want to get off, whatever, go ahead and reach out to us. We're offering 20-minute interviews that are pre-recorded. We're not doing them live. If you request for it to be live, that's up to you. I recommend the pre-recorded option because then we can go in and make edits. We can go in and add sound effects or, whatever kind of silly shit you want. However you want your interview to come off.
Yeah, personalized.
We'll make sure that there is a great post-production and get that out there, and that'll be for $75 for 20 minutes. And lastly, on that Linktree page, you will find a tipping option wherein you can tip us on PayPal or Cash App, and we have other payment options there as well. But the main tipping options are PayPal and Cash App. Please go ahead and tip us here on this show so we can keep these blue lights flashing behind us. Tuesday they might be green or red, who knows? But help us keep them on, man. Electricity is fucking expensive.
Yes,
and it's getting cold down here. As you can hear, we're a little bit nasally here today. You know what I'm saying? So please donate, chip in, help us continue to deliver you all grade A content. Lastly, my brother has an Instagram at Darkon2000, DARKAN, the number 2000. He also has a Twitter at DarkonENT, DARKANENT on Twitter. Go ahead and follow him, add him, twitch him, twack, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm also on Instagram. My personal page or more public page is at _dosage, DOSAGE. You can also go to my music page, and that is at _MA, wherein you can listen to some of my music. My Linktree is available on both of those pages if you want to tip me personally, or I do ghostwriting and myriad of other services that are offered on my page. So go ahead and reach out.
Yeah. So last night was a great show.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure if you saw it, but I got a couple of people that had hit up and said, man, thank you, great show, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's awesome because the thing is we do definitely want your responses. We want to know your comments about the show and if it's, helping you guys in any way, if there's anything you want us to talk about in particular.
Any
Um,
fronts that we're missing,
yeah,
or things
yeah,
that you think that we could expound on, things you'd like to see more of.
yeah, absolutely. Because we do enjoy doing what we do. It's not something that we're just slapping up against the wall hoping it sticks. We enjoy it when we know we're helping people and people are being reached. With that being said, hopefully you guys, if you're just listening because you're, like I said, you're traveling or you're doing what you need to do today, we are going to be talking about two things in particular. One is the Kyrie Irving situation, which is surprising to me that it's still in effect, that this thing is still going strong. Normally these little things happen and
They just kind of blow over.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? No, this has been going on. This guy has been dragged through the mud. He's been bullied
Castrated even.
pretty much. And, it's something that the black professor said that I thought was very interesting because he said the reason why they're going after Kyrie so hard is because they couldn't go after Kanye hard. Because Kanye has nothing to lose and he doesn't care.
Correct.
They already took what they could from him and he still, it's like, I'm not
Kept going.
apologizing. I don't care.
And he talking that shit right now.
Yeah.
He outed a couple things.
Yeah. That people that it's odd to me that people don't even believe it because people are quick to say things are conspiracy, and they're not well versed in understanding why those things aren't conspiracy. So a lot of times when you hear people say, "Oh, that's conspiracy" or "That's misinformation," are you doing your due diligence to find out if that's true?
Well, do you openly believe everything that's just presented to you
Yes.
through the news and the media?
Yes, and are your emotions activated? Because that's a lot of times what's going on with news and media. Hey, Sophia, news and media is entertainment, just like movies and just like television shows.
Correct.
They all work from a script, and their job is to emotionally motivate you and program. That's thus programming, right?
Television program.
Television
That's what it's always been
programming.
called.
That's right.
And this is why it's important to be definitive, because words do not lie.
Yes.
People lie.
Yes.
The words that they use are very telling. And expressive.
Newscast. Right? Isn't that wild?
It's right out there in front of your face. All you got to do is look.
Yeah.
Dick Gregory said it all the time. They tell on themselves. All you have to do is listen to what it is that they're saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sophia. Same thing to you. And I know you are doing it up big because you're a strong black female representing Dominican as well. And she's very big on family,
Thank you.
And so we love you and we appreciate you. Listen, I hope you you missed what I was just recently saying to the trainers. I was giving a shout out to all the personal trainers because you guys
They gonna have a rough couple months.
Yeah, with the holidays, they find those excuses. Oh well, this happened and that happened, and they all your sessions today get canceled. Inadvertently, they all get canceled. All your sessions today. So back to Kyrie Irving. It was wild because, like I said to you before the show, that the Israelites had all showed up in front of Barclays and they marched.
They mobilized,
and it wasn't really even shown in the news.
Yeah, I think I seen maybe a couple articles last week, or it might have been earlier this week, whatever. But no, they did not cover it like that.
Yeah,
even on Facebook, a lot of people weren't talking about it.
No,
they didn't hear about
it. They marched again yesterday. I think it was.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. That was the bigger one. That was the one where they were going up the street and everything, and literally a big march. And the small outlets were saying, "Oh, it's about 100 people," and the real information was it's over 100 people. Yeah. So they showed up. They literally showed up, and they made Shannon Sharp look stupid because Shannon Sharp was like, "Where's your army, Kyrie?" And it was like, "Boom, here's his army."
Yeah.
So I was happy to see that. Listen. I don't believe in pushing religion on people. I believe in sharing the gospel, but I don't believe in pushing the gospel. I don't believe in pushing your religious or political views on anyone. And I was just happy to see black men show up.
The unity.
Yeah.
Unity is very important in our community. We don't see it in a lot of places. We're probably not going to experience it in a lot of places. here currently in these times either.
Hmm. So I was really happy to see that because I was just like, oh, there's black men showing up.
God damn it.
You know, black men showing up. And I know I put it on pause. Maybe I picked the wrong day. Maybe I picked the third.
Upper right hand corner. Swipe down, upper right hand corner. Your upper right hand corner. Swipe down.
Okay, I think it's back. It's back to normal.
Well, I mean to put it in sleep mode.
Upper right hand corner.
Yep, swipe down. Where the battery symbol is at.
Oh, there.
Swipe down. Click focus.
Don't wanna lose my
Click it on the
focus.
yeah. Hit sleep. There you go.
Okay.
No more disturbances.
Sorry about that.
Please, niggas, don't call us. You know what I'm saying? We're
We
busy
love-
right now.
We love you. We love you, but
We're
let
busy
us,
as
let us
hell.
work. Let us work. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. So back to what I was saying. So
Yeah.
I was just, like I said, I was just happy to see, you know, a large group of black men who obviously was disciplined, because you normally, if you see that, normally sometimes you see it with the Muslim community, right?
Mhm.
You know, the brothers show up with their suits and everything, and you know, the NOI, they show up, the Nation of Islam. But these brothers actually showed up to support Kyrie Irving, and you know how everybody's going against him, and it was odd to see that some of the news outlets were saying that these guys are a racist group, you know, and it's just like, what is going on? Like, why is it when, you know,
Black people decide to group up together, to
Mhm.
band together, do
Mhm.
anything,
mm-hmm.
it always means that it's always labeled as threatening.
Yes, yeah, because in all actuality, it is a threat to them.
It is a threat to them, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes against, like I was talking about last night, man, hundreds of years of planning and implementation of you know, fucked up systematic principles and ideologies that were all designed against us.
Mm-hmm.
And people can say whatever they want. They can talk conspiracy bullshit, all of that. But the difference between then and now is quite evident.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it's elevated, which is really a devolution,
Mhm.
really, you know, we look at it. But this shit is real.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
they're terrified of anything that we do together,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't hate each other in
Yeah.
that moment. We're not attacking one another in that moment.
Right.
We're actually uplifting one another in that moment. You know, so that's what they're afraid
Well,
of.
it's a thing of, it's two different things. It's one is they can't control. That's the first thing, and then the second thing is they can't capitalize.
Correct.
You see, because you have to understand, as black people, you guys who are out there listening, as a culture, we have been misused and robbed of things for so many centuries. The ideas, the inventions, the movements, and things that we're capable of doing. The whole world knows that, and
There's a large amount of puppeteering against us.
of course, you know, America has literally built its success and its finances off the back of the black community. And people have to start being more outspoken about that.
The
you
world,
know,
even right now, is really
yeah, everything.
100% capital. You know, like I
Yeah.
said, all you got to do is go and watch television. You have access to YouTube. You got access to Netflix. Go and look at some of the shows in these other countries. Look at who they're emulating.
Yeah,
Look at who they're emulating.
yeah.
They're 100% emulating us.
Mm-hmm.
White, Asian,
Mm-hmm.
Latin,
Mm-hmm.
you know, European, Italian, any of these different races, any of these different areas in the world, India. Go and look at their television.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how their women are emulating our women.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they see us on TV, unfortunately, but they're still emulating us. They constantly use our image, whatever it is that they want the world to follow. They lead it up with us first.
Black women, there was a point back in, I think it was the 1800s,
Mm-hmm.
where they took a black woman around in a circus because of her
Oh, yeah.
endowment of
Yeah.
her rear end.
Yeah.
And
I forget her name, but I
yeah,
know what you're talking
it's
about.
a true story.
Mhm.
And
And she was caged and
she was a
on a
circus,
leash
yeah,
and-
circus attraction because she had
they never seen an ass.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
And now people are doing BBLs and they're getting injections.
They've been getting.
and
I mean, they've been doing the whole 90210 thing. Essentially, you know, that's been around. Was that the 90s?
yeah,
Early 2000s?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, what's going on, Pyro? How you doing, brother? Doing big things, man. Pyro too sick. Yeah, my man, he's out there making stuff happen, man. Definitely. Oh, so listen, guys, by the new year, we are planning to start having on-air interviews and
Correct.
guests. That's our objective. Because we are looking to start interviewing interesting people and people who are doing things for the community and people who can come and help us talk about specific topics.
Yeah.
So
we want to highlight the different strengths and
Mhm.
in our community, the people who are actually making a difference, people who are improving our collective public image.
Mm-hmm. And we'll also have on those people that'll talk crazy too. So
Well,
we haven't
Gotta
had
have balance.
Yeah, we kind of are interested in doing that. Appreciate it, man. Love what you're doing too, brother. So you're definitely one of the people that I'm looking. We have between ourselves, we have a collective of people that we're
pretty good network of people, man.
Oh,
who are
yeah.
just looking to make a difference for Black people, man. Teach us to start doing things a little bit differently to improve upon our quality of life,
Mhm.
and not only our quality of life, but our trajectory moving forward. Because our children are gonna need us to start doing things a little bit differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether that be maybe you don't have kids, but you probably got nieces and nephews, just the younger children in your life, man. You got to be able to offer them different perspective and show them that they have more options than what's on the surface level.
Yeah, very, very, very serious. Oh yeah, no, we'll let you know for sure because
Definitely.
I've already had people who've been hitting me up. It's just so many different people, and we have to make sure we balance it out.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to always talk about, and we've been realizing that our 2 hour format is perfect with the timing, but sometimes, man, the topics we're on it, we barely even getting questions in.
Yeah.
And before we know it, the show's over. So, yeah, we're gonna talk about. Hey, Daph, how you doing, baby? Love you. Yeah, they need to be locked up in Mexico. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. What's going on with Shanquilla, right? And the fact that more information is coming out about what happened. With friends like that, who needs enemies, man?
Man.
You know. So what they're basically saying is that there was a point where when the paramedics came, they worked on her for 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and they did what they could to resuscitate her and to keep her breathing and stuff, but it didn't work. So let's go to that real quick for the information on that. All right. Go here, and then there's something about Turkey.
Oh, that's what I was saying earlier, man. That page was ridden with fucking ads and shit.
Yeah. So basically, there were attempts to revive Shanquella Robinson with CPR, adrenaline, and electric shock. They were all unsuccessful. Man, dude, like adrenaline. If you know anything about adrenaline, they stick
Something
it
to
right in
get
the
it
heart.
Rerunning.
Yeah, man.
Try to get shock the heart to get it back pumping the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there talk about doctor advising them to take her to the hospital? Listen,
That's what they said.
Yeah, yeah.
Her friend said that, I believe.
Yeah. No, I think there's more to this story.
Well, we're never gonna hear her side of the story.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
That's the main focus to me, is that we'll never know what actually happened.
It's very unfortunate.
The odds of one of her young friends knowing that their entire life is and or their freedom is in the balance right now. The odds of them saying, you know what, this is exactly what happened.
FBI working on them. There's going to be one that's going to turn.
Yeah.
They offer a good
so?
deal. They offer a good
to
deal.
fully tell the truth, though.
Yeah. They offer a good deal. Some people going there, if I ain't got no jail time, I'll tell everything. You know what I mean? That sounds very enticing.
They're still going to hold their side of it, though.
No, of course. They definitely not going to incriminate
we're never
themselves.
We're never going to get the full truth, man.
Yeah. They definitely going to incriminate. Do you think she would have made it?
If the doctors would have actually been able to...
I don't think so.
With her neck being broken, man,
and her spine.
Her spine.
Yeah. No, I don't
If
think
anything,
so.
she would have been paralyzed.
Yeah. Quadruple, definitely.
For life.
For life.
She would have been paralyzed
See,
for life.
the number one thing is when your spine is broken, breathing is an issue.
Hmm. All motor functions are an issue.
Yes, all motor functions, but
Things that we
yeah,
take for granted.
yeah, because you're dealing with the nervous system, and what happens is that, especially um, the lungs and the heart, because of breathing,
The
are
body gets confused about how it's supposed to
it
operate.
can't move. It can't move.
You can't speak. You can
Can't
barely
speak.
blink.
Yeah.
You can barely, you've seen people who've had strokes.
It's a horrible
in
way
that
to
moment.
death. To die. People don't know,
You're
like,
powerless.
yeah. That's why when people hit their heads and stuff, you should never move them. I watch, like I said, I watch a lot of World Star,
Yeah.
and to see, there was this one video recently of a guy, this big brolic dude, took this other guy and threw him over a railing down at least what would have been the equivalent of the second floor. Threw the guy over the railing on concrete steps. And I guess because the other dude was drunk, the one that he threw, he got up and kind of wobbled, but you never saw what happened after that. People don't realize that violence, and we talked about this on our previous show, what violence really is. You're not in your cognitive reasoning, you're not in your conscious mind. All of your action comes from an emotional place, a selfish place of, I want to hurt you. And it doesn't matter what you do in this moment to defend yourself. I am going to hurt you. If I could bottle that, I'd be a billionaire. Because to me, it's the equivalent of a man and a woman, or the desire that someone has for another person. It's nothing in the middle of that, man. It just goes. And so to hit someone and not realize that you can damage them, because see, a lot of people watch UFC and stuff like that and think that people are, resilient to the point of, well, I mean, human beings can be resilient. People fall out of
But
buildings.
they think that they can just get away with what they want to get away with.
Yeah, man.
That's
Yeah.
problematic.
Yeah. But for her neck to have been broken, first off, the neck, it's the reason why the first thing that ambulance paramedics do is put the collar on you, because they don't want any more damage happening.
Elongate it, keep it straight, stiff.
Yeah, until they figure out what's actually going on, because the more movement. So if her neck was broken, like from what I was told, one of the girls played her, like kind of like body slam, the light skinned one.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of body, some strong ass chicks, man, to be throwing somebody around like that.
It may have been more so that they're just full of malice. I don't think that had anything to do with their actual abilities, man. They were just in there. They were in there doing what they wanted to do to another person. I would not give them that much credit.
Yeah. Do you produce and help push feature films that are on an independent level? Good question. I mean, hell, Eric. I mean, we can definitely look into doing that as far as interviewing people online. I'm in the process of
we got to
working
get
on my
more
own.
mobility.
Yeah, but that's
we got to get
an option.
more engagement and more involvement before we start doing that.
Yeah, to reach a bigger audience. But good question. Thank you for asking. Yeah. Lost my train of thought. Back to Shanquella. Okay.
Yeah, just man, I wouldn't give them so much credit to say that they actually suplexed and did all of these kind of things. Well, that's an actual tactic.
Well, body slamming is, that's common.
More so.
That's
maybe.
more common.
Yeah, they did what they felt. They did what they felt in the moment, which is fuck this chick.
Really, that's hard.
Absolute disregard for her life.
That's hard. Listen, like I always say, I mean, I'm 39 in January, 39 years of martial arts training, man, and growing to a point of loving violence and loving action and loving fighting and loving, combat. If nobody's fighting back either, man, dude. So no, I don't think she would have made it. Even if they would have revived her, there's always a chance, because of a broken neck mostly. With the breathing. The breathing is the hardest part when it comes to that. The breathing. And I mean, because that's usually why people die from a broken neck. If not overload of the nervous system, the pain sometimes is so overwhelming that people literally go into shock.
Yeah.
And they die from that. Breathing is usually the reason why loss of breath air and oxygen to the lungs, or air and oxygen to the brain. So then sometimes people are brain dead from it. So she, had they resuscitated her, she could have been brain dead.
She would
She
have
could
been
have been a
paralyzed,
vegetable,
man.
or a vegetable. Vegetable as well. So that's really sad.
Quality of life would not have been choice.
At all. What's going on, Farley? And then they were saying that they stole money from her as well.
I'm sure they completely violated her.
Apparently,
they had disregard for her life.
Yeah, apparently she paid for the whole trip for everyone. She paid for the whole trip for all the people.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she got the location they were staying at and everything.
So they basically kind of used her. Not kind of, they did use her.
Yeah. So it says a police report states Shanquella Robinson was still alive when a doctor responded to a call to help. She died within hours. See, the thing is, they wouldn't have known she broke her neck unless they're observant of knowing that the body goes limp.
Correct.
Multiple attempts by a doctor to revive Shanquella Robinson were unsuccessful before she was pronounced dead in Mexico. A police report shared by the
Polymex?
Polymex.
Probably something to do with
Polymex
Mexico.
news outlet states Shanquella Robinson is the 25-year-old Charlotte woman who mysteriously died while on Cabo vacation with friends, quote unquote, in late October. Robinson's death has garnered national attention with a nationwide call for justice on social media. Actually, it's international. Many people have used the hashtag Justice for Shanquella in hopes her story will reach national headlines. It already has. The FBI's Charlotte field office opened an investigation into her death after a video posted online showed Robinson being attacked by one of the friends she traveled to Mexico with. Now, as we know, it was more than one person. What's going on, Ben Kaplan? How you doing? It was more than one person. Dr. Carolina Beatrice. She got four names.
All right, Carolina Gutierrez.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
or Nelas Gutierrez. Of the American Medical Center. Well, she got four names.
That's what I'm saying.
American
Just
Medical
first name,
Center.
last name. Fuck all of that.
She responded to a request for help at the home Robinson was staying at with the others a little after. They're not really doing good on this report because it was an Airbnb. But anyway, staying at with the others a little after 2 p.m. on October 29th when Gutierrez arrived. She was told Robinson had been drinking excessively and needed an IV. Interesting. Needed an IV. Well, I wonder how they would came. Gutierrez wanted to take Robinson, who was still alive, to the hospital for treatment. Her friends refused, saying she could be treated at the home. See, this is when stuff starts to get really odd. Robinson was stable but extremely dehydrated, according to the doctor, who said
they were probably already terrified. They felt that she was dead already. At the very least, they all knew they were in trouble. They knew that they had already went too far.
Well,
that's what it was.
Well, she was unconscious, so it would have been hard for the doctor to determine that her neck and
Well, I'm saying her friends.
Right.
They already knew that they went too far.
Well, yeah.
That's why they were saying whatever they were saying to the doctors and whoever it was that they contacted, if they actually did it all.
Okay, so this is the thing. See, this is when questions start coming up. Because she got there, she was staying at the others a little after 2. Okay? So she got there at 2, and then at 4:20, she went into convulsions. That's almost 2.5 hours.
Yes, because their whatever their little fight altercation was probably lasted not even 20 minutes.
Right.
Doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
So that other 2 hours is probably them panicking.
Yeah.
Damn, she ain't moving. Damn, whatever it was. That's how I would see it. Because just all them standing there recording, fight back, and all of that silly bullshit that they're thinking. They're behaving like children, worse than children, whatever. I think that they knew that they had already went too far, and they didn't know what to do after that, and they didn't want to tell them themselves.
Yeah,
that's what that was.
Yeah, it says while waiting for the ambulance, Robinson was struggling to breathe, and her pulse was dropping. That's what I'm saying. Breathing, when it comes to spinal injuries, is always a huge sign.
Who reported that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was a doctor there.
When the ambulance. Well, no,
that was after it arrived. So who was it that was? checking her pulse?
It said Gutierrez. That's what I'm saying. The doctor was there the whole time for 2.5 hours.
Hmm.
What was she doing? Looking to convince them? Gutierrez last felt a pulse at 4:49. This is all odd stuff. Because the doctor said that she went into convulsions at 4:20. The doctor got there at 2. See, a little after 2.
So yeah, so why wasn't it just immediately a?
That's my question. As a
Well,
doctor,
well, probably because of the alcohol lie. So if they they called her mother and told her that or whatever. So they apparently told that to the doctors as well, and maybe that's what the doctors were focused on.
mm,
Depending on how it looked.
yeah, but even if it's alcohol poisoning,
So you're supposed to go and pump the stomach immediately.
yeah. Anyway, you're supposed to, at 4:49, it started CPR with the help of Robinson's friends. So they even, oh my God, this is a hot mess. Until the ambulance arrived. Okay, the doctor attempted 14 sessions of CPR and gave Robinson 5 doses of adrenaline and six electric shocks with a defibrillator without success. Gutierrez declared Shanquilla Robinson dead at 5:57 p.m. So she was there from after 4. After 2. This is something's not right. It's almost 4 hours of work, which she should have been at the hospital. Mexican police responded to the call to assist medics at the home around 5:30. When they arrived, they spoke to the doctor who attempted to revive Robinson about what happened. The doctor alleged Robinson's friends refused to let her be taken to the hospital at the first sign of convulsions. That doesn't make any sense. The timeline of these events don't line up, that's what I'm saying, with Robinson's death certificate, which states she died within 15 minutes of suffering a severe spinal cord injury and a broken neck. Guys, this is all a sacrifice. Sorry. Hundreds of people attended Robinson's funeral at Charlotte's Macedonia Baptist Church on November 19th. That was just recently. Family members wore pink in her honor, as well as bracelets and pins with Robinson's photo. Hundreds more showed up to support the family, demanding justice in what they believe is an unsolved murder. Yeah, it means a lot to see Charlotte supporting her and the family, blah, blah, blah. The child was among friends, and she should have been, she wasn't a child. She was a grown woman, and these were grown people with her. Should have been able to feel comfortable and feel safe, and not this. This should not have happened. Agreed. GoFundMe page for the families raised over $369,000 as of November 23rd. That includes a notable donation from NBA player Kyrie Irving, who gave $65,000. He actually gave more, from what I was told. I saw another article. He gave more than that. The Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department said they are not involved at all in the investigation. WCNC Charlotte has worked to track down the friends who Robinson traveled with. They have either offered no comment or have left the area and can no longer be reached, which should not have happened. It's an open murder investigation, but the problem is that it happened in Mexico.
I was going to say, it's not their jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm. Farley said, either way, she should have been assessed once she admitted to the hospital.
Verify is
I don't
all
know
about
why this
transparency.
stuff keeps doing that.
Well, the problem was, what's going on, John? What's going on, Scott? What's going on, Brandon? The problem is that she died at the spot. She was never taken to the hospital until after all that work was done.
And why would the doctors listen to these children saying don't take her to the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean?
Mm-hmm. No, take her.
Why the fuck would a doctor listen to unqualified individuals about what it is that's wrong, with what they're actively assessing?
Right, Farley, but she was dead by the time she got to the hospital. She wasn't even she died at the house. They didn't even she was never at the hospital. All of this stuff, this is the stuff that's bothering me. That's why I'm saying it was a sacrifice, because all of that stuff that happened at the house. So it's like almost 4.5, almost 5 hours of work being done on her at the house.
Why did the doctor come without
Yeah, the whole thing is odd, bro.
Why were there no? I don't. I don't know how it works in Mexico, but why
Right.
weren't there actual EMTs in general?
Right, in the first place. Because if you say someone has alcohol poisoning, that in itself is very traumatic and needs to have to
They
get the
rush you to
person
the
in the
hospital.
hospital. Absolutely.
Or at least that. So again, that's what they do here.
Yeah, the doctors came to the house.
Yeah, I don't know what they do in
Mhm.
Mexico. Maybe they
Right.
have a different procedure, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it. Not when it comes to something like that falling on their hands. You know, this situation to me has more plot holes than the Wakanda Forever film.
I didn't watch this
There's a
shit.
lot. There's a lot of unanswered questions. Farley said she should have been assessed. Yeah, for the house. Then no matter what her friends, that's what we're saying, Farley. You're right. Which leads me to thinking more sacrifice mind. You know, don't sound right at all. Yeah, what's going on? Fitness Leo, how you doing, man? Yeah, the whole situation is jacked, man, and it's a hot mess. But we as the people from the outside looking in, I would like for her to have justice. I don't like unanswered stuff like that. I think, like you said, we'll never know the full story.
Mm-mm.
But the thing is we want their. I think what happens is when horrible stuff like this happens, these incidents, we look at ourselves and we say, man, what if that was me? Well, it wouldn't be me first though, because I don't go a lot of places with a lot of people, and
Yeah, if I'm going by myself.
you know what I'm saying.
I'm
And
not going with these niggas.
I damn sure ain't gonna be getting beat up like that on camera. by
Going
nobody.
with these fools that you don't actually know and,
Right.
and putting your life in their hands. I
Right,
don't know.
right. And from what I saw, the six knew each other since elementary school. Like they knew each other for a long time. So this is a tight knit group. That's like I said, it all leads more to me to public sacrifice. Public. And for those of you who listen who don't know what a public sacrifice is there are certain things that have to happen by the elites in the world at specific times, and usually those things are sacrifices. And some sacrifices are done behind closed doors. Some sacrifices are done publicly, and they're done in a way to ignite the emotion of the nation or the world.
Public, correct.
Yes. And just like we talk about the news, that's why the news is very emotional. It's very emotional. It's like
It's only emotional.
it's because it's
not very emotional.
yeah,
Only
it's
emotional.
I mean, it was some. I think I was watching an interview with Isaiah Washington. He said, "I don't watch the news." He was telling the interview of Vlad, "I don't watch the news." He said, "I get my information from online. I get my information from watching online." Because he said, "I'm going to get the true perspective from there." And I kind of firmly believe that, because the thing is that a lot of times if you can read 3 articles and they all say 3 different things. When did it get so bad from the news outlets to where they can't even get the story right?
They all share the same story.
Pretty much.
You can go and look at the different broadcasts, different states, different cities, local, even at the local level. Typically, they're all reading from the same script.
Yeah, and it's always really wild because there's some memes that are out and some videos on YouTube that you can watch that says, "Oh, they all read from the same script." And it's
There's a
interesting to
specific
watch.
family. They have a castle down in the Pebble Beach area in California. I forget what the name of the castle is, but they run over 90% of the news here in America. They own it. So all of those scripts that are written, it's very easy to go and just go and look. They are all saying almost the exact same thing.
Yeah, they've lined it up. Yeah, they've lined it up. And I wouldn't want to be the person to put it on our show because we'd get a strike. Joe said any qualified doctor would have insisted she goes to the hospital immediately.
They wouldn't have insisted. They just would have took her.
Yeah.
They're not listening to these fucking kids.
I question why Dr. Gutierrez didn't. It almost sounds like she feared going against the friends.
That is the way that it was. At least that was the way that it was written in the article.
Mm-hmm.
We can say that. That is how it was written in the article. Is
Yeah.
it true?
Don't know.
I don't know.
Don't know. A lot of plot holes, man. A lot of plot holes. I mean, I think it's pretty much 5 hours that all that was going on.
Correct.
But the autopsy said she suffered for 15 minutes, not 5 hours. So as soon as it's saying, which usually
They're saying based on when once the neck was broken and the spine was damaged.
well, that's pretty much how it normally works. You know, when your neck is broken, you don't have much time to live because your body cannot hold itself up to get the mechanics of moving air through the lungs. Um, don't ask me how I know. uh, what's going on, Danny? uh, yeah. Anybody got any more to say about this?
Any questions, comments, concerns? Fuck her friends,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Her friends.
Somebody said, "Thank God the FBI is on it. I pray that they get justice for her. Prayers for her family."
Yeah. Which, sure, the FBI being involved is something, but
Mm.
at the end of the day, it is within the Mexican jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm. Which is probably, someone mentioned, it's probably the reason why they did it there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for whatever reason.
Now, they can hand it over to us, but us being the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, next up.
So we were talking at the top of the show about Kyrie Irving. We're back on that.
That's just how they
On Sunday.
on the page.
Yeah. On Sunday, Kyrie Irving returned from an 8-game suspension after again apologizing for promoting an anti-Semitic film on Twitter. He said, "I just want to offer my deep apologies to all those who were impacted over these last few weeks, specifically my Jewish relatives." Wow. "My black relatives, all races and cultures." That's an interesting statement. He said relatives. You know, it's funny that people would lash out against their relative like that. "All races and cultures."
That's bullshit.
Irving said prior to Sunday's game between his Brooklyn Nets and the Memphis Grizzlies. "Feel like we all felt an impact, and I don't stand for anything close to hate speech or anti-Semitism or anything that is going against the human race." Irving also seemed to reflect. Oh, and by the way, the film is still on Amazon. Irving also seemed to reflect on the way he handled the now month-long saga, which included his repeated refusal to apologize for his tweet and his insistence that he cannot be anti-Semitic. And I tell you this, envy is real, Danny. I tell you this, if it had been me, a straight up, "fuck you, I ain't apologizing for shit," would have ended it all. I guarantee you that.
Well, I don't think that's how it would work.
I believe it would. I believe it would be because
That's not how Jewish people work.
Well, not so much just Jewish people,
you're
just
getting stripped of everything.
Well,
on this particular subject, as it applies to anti-Semitism, white people, the elite white people, are taking everything from you. There is no question about that. Doesn't matter what you say or do or don't do.
Right.
If they gonna take it from you, they gonna take it from you.
Yeah.
What's up, Rodney?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he felt like he had to come back, that in itself, because he's been back and forth with this several times, bro. With not just with this situation. You know, when he was going through it about the jab, you know, they gave him fines and stuff like that, and we just talked about it yesterday. Don't know if y'all heard it, but we'll bring this up, and maybe we can even talk about it. But Ice Cube in Deadline, he's been on an interview on YouTube. You can find it, but Deadline posted it. Ice Cube was offered $9 million to star in the movie with Jack Black, and he said, "Okay, I'll do the movie, but I'm not going to take the jab." And they were like, "Well, you have to take the jab," and he was like, "Well, then I'm not doing the film." So he turned down the film. You know, pretty much just it's not that he turned the film down. He just got excluded from being a part of the film because he wouldn't accept the jab.
Well, you said he's not taking that shit.
Yeah, and his words,
you're not gonna force me into that.
And his words were like, "Fuck you and your film," and "fuck you for wanting me to take it." I was like, "Go ahead, Ice Cube."
Yep.
You know, but anyway, Irving also seemed to reflect on the way he handled the now month-long saga, which included his repeated refusal to apologize for his tweet and his insistence that he cannot be anti-Semitic. "I feel we all should have an opportunity to speak for ourselves when things are assumed about us, and I feel it is necessary for me to stand in this place and take accountability for my actions." because there was a way I should have handled all of this. I'm telling you, fuck you. I ain't I ain't apologizing. And as I look back and reflect when I had the opportunity to offer my deep regrets to anyone that felt threatened or hurt by what I posted, that wasn't my intent at all, he said. Irvin had first apologized on November 3rd. Man, this has been a month long. 3 hours after his suspension was announced. To all Jewish families and communities that are hurt and affected for my post, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain, and I apologize, Irvin wrote in an Instagram post. Yeah, he had been over and over and over and over again, and now they got him doing all this other stuff. Uh, yeah, Danny said blacks make up 70% of the NBA and own less than 6 teams. We can literally build our own association. Agreed. Yoku, proud of my Gemini twin. He stands on his morals. That's what I told my brother Keith yesterday. I was like, he's a Gemini. He said, oh, so y'all moody. I'm like, yeah, we can be moody. Just stay out of our way.
They're definitely fake Jews. I agree.
Followers, critics of Kyrie's decision to tweet a link to the film, Hebrews, it wasn't a link. It wasn't a link to the film. It was a trailer. It was a trailer, and all he had said was, "This is a good film." That's all. He never said, "Go watch this." He never promoted it. You know, they actually want him to denounce the film. Now they want him to speak out against it.
That's that same kind of bullshit happened to me in the military. So I got kicked out because I just shared something. Like, you endorse this. You're aligning your views with the Air Force and all of this bullshit. They're doing the same fucking shit to him, man.
Wow,
it's the same fucking thing.
Critics of Kyrie's decision to tweet a link to the film, Hebrews to Negroes, and they don't get no credit for the rhyming of that, man. That rhyme. Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, noted that it boasted sales of the film and a related book that promotes the idea that Jews were heavily involved in an Atlantic slave trade. They were. And denies, well, I don't know now, the Holocaust. See, I haven't seen the film yet. I'm not going to pay all that money to watch that film, especially if I don't like it. But I'm like that about all films. So, denies the Holocaust and says black people are the real Jews. There are black Jews, for you guys who are not in the know. In fact, the man that carried the cross that Jesus was crucified on was a black Jew. And he started the first church in I think it was Antioch. He started the church. He was one of the first followers of Christ to start a church. So part of the problem is that people don't know history and they don't research. But I'm fortunate enough to know that black people had a very big part in the Bible that people say is a white man's book. And it's like, all right, well, why would they give credit to this black man, this man of melanin who carried the cross? Started the first church, and he was actually a Jew. He was there he was in Israel at that time in order to celebrate and to do the Jewish customs. So anyway, followers of the group that ascribes to such theories gathered at the Grand Army Plaza, a half mile from the Nets Arena Sunday, chanting, "It's time to wake up. I got good news for you. We are the real Jews." Surprised they didn't arrest all of them. The group included dozens of people from Israel United in Christ, a New York-based group associated with the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. The movement, not to be confused with the International Israelite Board of Rabbis, which embraces mainstream Jewish beliefs, has been designated a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Interesting. So I want to go back to them saying that they denied the Holocaust. If I watch that documentary and it does say that, then I can understand, because that is a form of denying. It's kind of like someone saying that slavery never existed for black people. In
the way that it's told, it didn't.
Yeah, right. But if sorry, my
forgot about that hour.
Yeah, sorry guys. Jeez, well, I tell you, I can't win. Not on this.
But it is important to outline exactly how it is that things happen. The way that slavery is told to us is not exactly how it happened.
Well, they're talking more now about indentured slavery.
It wasn't indentured servitude.
Yeah,
it was It was
Chattel slavery. Treated like treated treated human beings like animals. You know.
they were just internment camps, is what they were, you know. And were people allowed to leave? No. Is that a form of slavery? Yes. But the way that they told it, and this whole putting niggas on ships and traveling around the world on a big ass boat, none of that bullshit happened. Not that way. No. It's scientifically impossible. But that's a conversation
Yeah, that's definitely something we need to talk about
for another show.
You actually believe that they weren't shipped?
No.
Because that's why they're saying that Jewish people were a part of the slave trade because they owned a lot of the boats.
There's no, number one, we can't find any boats. There are no leftover ships. So think about that. Number two, there is no way humanly possible to keep people in chains, not feed them, and have them on a 30 to 90 day ride across the Atlantic Ocean all the way here from the other side of the world. There is no way. The niggas eating could barely make that.
So the Amistad never existed?
No.
You don't believe the Amistad? They
No.
have the Amistad. The Amistad is in a museum. It's docked at a museum. The ports never existed. What about the ports over in Africa, at the shoreline?
Their ports were their ports. It had nothing to do with the other side of the world. These are ships that weren't even motorized. The niggas who traveled or sailed around the world had to stop. They had to stop. And
Interesting.
they're saying that the slave trade, 30 to 90 days straight. Didn't stop nowhere for nothing, didn't pick up nothing, none of that shit. They just sailed, went straight there. Just saying. It's something to think about.
Well, I mean, if people have their direct roots and lineage of slaves, and they have direct roots and lineage to their culture, I mean,
You believe the whole ancestry bullshit?
No, it's not.
All of those blood tests telling people that they're
that right there. I could care less about
X amount of blood. No, but when you talk about roots,
no, I don't believe. I don't believe. No, I don't believe. I know that movie is false from my research.
Not roots. I'm saying what you just said about people's roots.
Direct lineage.
How do they know?
What do you mean?
We don't even own our information. The Mormons own our information.
Right, but
the Mormons own all of our documents from the 1600s to now. How the fuck do they own all of our documents? How do we know that what they're telling us and giving us and showing us, how do we know that any of that shit is even real? They're selling us our information. How do we know it's real?
Right, but what I'm saying is that there are people who have direct lineage in regards to.
How do they know?
Because they found a way back.
But how?
Because they knew who their tribes were.
They have to go through the U.S. What the fuck is it called? It's a U.S. library of sorts. I forget the actual name of it, but we'll sit down and talk more about that. But point being, when you have to consult this government, you have to consult the territories that are not ours in Africa right now today. When they barely have any of their own history there, how the fuck do they have our history? Those are just questions to ask. I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm not telling anybody that nothing existed, but I am telling you, just ask questions. It does not make sense to just say, we went to sources that are not owned by us and found out that this is our information.
So let me get this straight. So then you feel that people who are black...
I don't feel, I think.
Okay, right. That's right. People who you think are here were the ones that were just put into slavery.
Yeah, we already had history here.
Right, and that I agree with. There were black people already here. There were actual people who sailed who were black, because they're always teaching us that black people hate water.
And I'm gonna put that's ridiculous. I'm gonna put this in the comments on YouTube.
Yeah.
But go and look up Cahokia, right? That's old North America. Look up Alkebulan, right? it an AN or ON? I think it's AN. And I'm just telling you, giving you questions to go ask. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to do shit. But I am saying ask questions. I do not believe anything word for word that I'm told about our history
Well, I agree. Listen,
in the modern world.
I agree with you on that too. But I'm not going to sit and discount slavery when I know that slavery exists. I have people.
It didn't exist the way that they said it existed.
Chattel slavery.
It did not exist the way that they said it existed. This whole Atlantic slave trade, all of that kind of shit. That's the only thing they of all the goods in the world that niggas could have traveled with and traded with. We're the only good in the world that went from Africa all the way here. We're the only good in the world.
What do you mean as far as product wise?
Product. We were considered a product.
Free labor's free labor,
nigga.
There
were already people here. Yeah, why did they need to go all the way to Africa?
Not disagreeing.
Why did they need to go all the way to Africa when they were already taking from the niggas who were already here?
Well,
and North America was not empty. It has its own rich history. South America was not empty. It has its own rich history. Saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I believe that slavery existed. I believe in chattel slavery.
I didn't say it didn't exist. It just didn't exist the way that they're telling it.
No, that I agree. It's always a thing of researching and understanding history in its fullness rather than what people tell you.
That's the word I was looking for. Mississippian culture. If you don't know anything about Mississippian culture of Northern America, go and look at the roughshod that was ran in Northern America during the 13 and 1400s that deleted all of the languages that were here. Go and look at some of the Native American testimonies. Their families, because they had historians the way that they had historians over in Africa.
Of course.
Majority of people, and you can go and look at this. Majority of the territories that were never conquered in Africa, all of those tribes and families, they didn't know that they don't acknowledge an Atlantic slave trade. That's not a thing that their families talk about. They have no idea what that even is until they hear about it from us. Until they hear about it from territories like South Africa, where the French, the U.S. and Germany and the U.K. or England have taken over and turned it into a mini America, a mini England. I'm just saying, there's so much more to look at. When you say go and do some due diligence, I'm just telling people go ask some questions. This is not conspiracy theory. Go and ask some questions.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think I'm always fair to the point where I know that there's a catalyst of the meeting of the two.
Sure.
It becomes a very dangerous gray zone. Just like when people say that, I've seen places dealing with the execution of the Jews during Germany, for people to be like, that didn't happen. It's like, what are you talking about? Or it's not possible. What do you mean it's not possible? It's very possible.
It's definitely possible.
Human beings by nature are fucking evil. so it's nothing to say, hey, here's a person that, I don't know. I mean, when it gets to stuff like that, I've watched enough stuff to know, and I've done enough research and read books to know that the Holocaust happened.
Sure.
Right. And so when people deny that and it comes to slavery, it's like, okay, do we want to buy into what these people already want to push to us, that they don't owe us anything as a culture? They owe us a lot.
Of course they do.
They owe us a lot. The difference between people who are immigrants and people who are foundational Black Americans, it's a culture that has been subdued in such a way to where we can't get up out of the hole that they put us in. You know what I mean? It's very, very, very gray line. It's very dangerous to walk that line, because how do we get to a place of making things better? If we don't realize we've been wrong, you got to know that you've been wrong.
We got to stop allowing other people to tell us our history.
I agree with that. That's not what I'm disagreeing about. I'm just saying that.
Well, you said, how do we get to a place? That's how we get there. we stop allowing other people to tell us what our history was.
Right, right. But we have to know some of the history is true. And because listen, if we get to a point where everybody's got an opinion of what they think it is, then how do we know what it really is? Because those people are dying off. That's something that I said on a previous show.
And that's why we consult our elders and
but they're dying,
ask them questions.
But they're dying off. And so now the more knowledge that comes, listen, there's a serious thing happening right now called revisionism. That's a very serious thing, and it's happening through film. People don't realize it's happening through film and it's happening through television. Revisionism history is huge right now, and it's because
understand that revisionism history is not new, though.
No, it's not new, but it's become more chic amongst liberal people, which is dangerous.
But why you say dangerous? What's dangerous is that this is not the first time our history has been rewritten here.
I'm not just talking about our history, because this is what I'm saying. Okay, let me give you an example. We look at World War I, right? We look at the Harlem Hellfighters. If you've done any interesting work on that, when you look at it, that there was racism. Racism is a very prominent and serious thing in this country, okay? In this country. When you look at the Harlem Hellfighters and you look at what they accomplished and what they did, then you see movies when you see the regiments of armies are integrated, and it didn't happen. That's what revisionism is, and that's a dangerous thing, because what we start to lose sight of is that we were misplaced, we were mistreated, we were misadjusted, we were put in a space. And that's, listen, if you don't acknowledge something, you don't repeat it. You've heard that before, and that to me is an issue. It's a problem, because people are saying, "Oh, okay, this is the history. This is the history. This is the history."
Right.
Well, what's the true history? If you got 15 different opinions, which one is the factual opinion? Even if they're based with fact, because what makes something a fact?
Acceptance. Everyone has to agree.
And how many people with different opinions are going to agree about
what position are we in to agree on everything?
We never are. So then you say the majority rules, right?
I'm saying logically, there is no way for us to do that, because we don't own any of our own information.
Right, but we have you said it. We have ancestors,
right?
We have people, but they're dying off. That's the issue that I'm having, because it's like, all right,
the oldest people we have right now were born in the 20s and 30s, and they're nearing their 90s and 100s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, because I put the name up there, Dan Calloway, and he did a report on Harriet Tubman, and this is why I say revisionist history is nothing new. My mother, she's about to be, she just turned 57 a few months ago. 57 years old. She didn't know who Harriet Tubman was until I came home and had to do a report on her. Her mother never heard of Harriet Tubman. My grandfather, he's in his 80s, I want to say now, never heard of Harriet Tubman. That wasn't a thing when they were in school in the 40s and 50s. And then when my mother was in school in the 60s and 70s, she did not exist, Harriet Tubman, right? Harriet Tubman was introduced into her story was introduced into the curriculum around the 70s, the same way how they're slowly changing in the Macmillan books, the textbooks about the history of slavery right now. It's done slowly over time. It's not new. And
before we move on, what do you mean about Harriet Tubman? Is that you're saying
she didn't exist?
Right. Okay. That's information that I've gained as well.
Right. She did not exist. This is a story that was written by some white niggas over in England, and a white nigga here who was, I forget if it was a politician. Her name is Sarah something, and we'll do a whole show on this, because obviously this is a good topic. But go and look up Dan Calloway on YouTube. Dan Calloway, Harriet Tubman. He has a whole report on it, and he went and found the receipts, the actual patent. The Harriet Tubman's name has a fucking patent number. Her story has a patent number. It was a storybook. Her whole story is a novel.
Well, you see the symbolism in her photos as well.
You know what I'm saying?
All the symbolism is there. She's got the hidden hand and all that other stuff. So,
but I'm just saying, saying that is why it's important that we ask these fucking questions because so many of us would be hurt, remiss
To find out the truth.
to find out and hear that someone like Harriet Tubman never existed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if she didn't exist, well, what else about slavery didn't fucking exist? Because she's one of the largest figures
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Nat Turner never existed.
Mm-hmm.
Patent number on that nigga's story.
Mm-hmm.
And Dane Calloway again, another. He's doing a lot of the work, and he puts up the receipts and tell you where you can go. The Library of Congress, I believe, is what it's called.
Yeah.
Um,
Very, very important that people, do their work and their due diligence because, like I said, when it came to, online, all of a sudden the Willie Lynch letters didn't exist, and it's like, okay, well, come on now, it's like we hearing these things. It's nothing
just
true.
because they were written and disseminated,
not disagreeing,
does not mean that they
disagreeing.
existed when they originally said that they existed.
Right, and it doesn't mean that they didn't exist.
I'm saying it didn't. That doesn't mean that they existed when they originally said. They could have said that they were 100 years old, and maybe they were really only 20 years old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel you.
It's a scare tactic, just like any other type of propaganda, news.
Mm-hmm.
It could be any of those things. Why am I saying that? That's why, because I'm just saying ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you to denounce anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you to erase all of what it is that you've heard and what you know, but I'm just saying ask different questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important to ask different questions because we don't have anyone in our community, the black community, who says this is our actual history book.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we know. We didn't have to go and get this information from the Mormons. We didn't have to go get it from the Library of Congress. We didn't have to do any of those things. We didn't have to pay anybody for our information back. This is what we know. We're not afforded that luxury. We don't even have black historians here in America.
Right.
Actual, like, within our families. We don't have, that's a tradition that we lost. So what we do have, anyone is free to go to an Indian reservation. Indian reservation. It's the Native American federal land, right? Tons of reservations here in the U.S. You can go and visit one. Go and talk to them. There are a few channels, and I'll have to sit and think about the names of them. And even they were tainted, because the five what they call it, the five, not original tribes, but like the five friendly tribes or whatever bullshit. Because they beat them to death and got them down to dwindling numbers and said, okay, you guys are going to be the last five that we'll let live and that we're going to recognize federally. You know what I'm saying? But there were thousands of different Native American tribes. But anyway, go and talk to them and look at what their history is. Their history completely differs from what it is that we're told in regular American curriculum.
Of course.
You got to ask these questions. Again, I'm not telling nobody or anyone to denounce anything that they know, to denounce any of what your current beliefs are, but I'm just telling you to just ask a different question. Ask a different question. I'm not one to accept anything that I'm fed. Not by white media, not by America, not by England, not by international motherfuckers over in Africa or any of that shit. I have to ask the question.
Well, that's where it starts.
Because if I don't ask the question, I'm doomed to be poisoned, to get hit with a smallpox blanket. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that shit, bitch. You're not going to get me that way, nigga. I got to ask the question because I'm not going out like that. And not enough of us are asking questions. We accept sources just as they are because it seems like they're trustworthy, but maybe they're not. That's all I'm saying. Just ask a different question. I'm off my soapbox. I'm done. Just niggas ask questions. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Since we sidestepped, we gotta get back.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
The whole Hebrew Israelite thing and
yeah, like I said,
so much shit going on.
Well,
Man.
I mean, my point was about the Holocaust.
What they said about the Holocaust.
Yeah. And maybe because there was a personal understanding of, I've known people who with tattoos growing up in New York and meeting people who actually escaped Auschwitz. All right, so to say that it, in my opinion, it never happened, it's like, okay, Were you there?
Well, we gotta watch the film to get
Yeah.
clarification
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. Um.
But I think it's okay for us to say that.
What's that?
If to say that it didn't exist, if they're gonna keep whitewashing the reality of whatever massacres were committed and labeled as slavery here,
Mm-hmm.
when they're watering it down in the textbooks and saying that it didn't matter, I don't give a fuck about the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have shit to do with me. It didn't have shit to do with black people.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to us here is what's important.
Right. Well.
Let's fight and complain and
Yeah.
about that.
Well,
Let's be embittered about that.
For me, it goes to the understanding of humanity. That's
We haven't been afforded humanity, so I don't even care
Well,
about that.
for me, it's understanding of what's to come. Because if you're able to do this to any group of people, even if you go as far as back to the Inquisition, 3 million people died during the Inquisition, where the Catholic Church came in and took people's property and took
Because
lives.
the Spaniards are trash.
Well, Spaniards, Italians, whoever. Humans.
South America didn't even belong to
Right.
the
Well,
Spanish.
humans, if they're capable, just like we were talking about what happened with this young woman, even if it is a sacrifice. For me personally, when it comes to what human beings, are capable of doing, I have a problem with that.
But it mostly only happens to us. That's
Well-
why I don't give a fuck about fuck South America, fuck the Holocaust, all of that shit. Can we get some actual focus on us?
Yeah, and that's fine. But the problem is until people understand that the fact that people are capable of doing this to a human being, period. Because the problem is they don't see us as human beings. You see, and so until people start to understand that no human being should ever be done a certain way, it does for us. They really ain't gonna care about
this
us,
is the
bro.
thing. They're already acknowledging that for everyone else
Not really.
except us.
Not really. Human beings by nature are sinful and selfish and evil,
Holocaust
so.
victims receive reparations.
Yeah, I mean every other culture does. We know that. Even
everything.
the Japanese that were here in
they received a shit ton of different types of subsidies that had no negative impact on their communities.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck is ours?
Yeah.
That's why I don't care about any of that other shit.
Yeah. Well, that's where we're different because I believe that we have to start caring that it shouldn't happen to anybody.
If we care that it shouldn't happen to anybody, where is the balance?
Lady Mew said history is written by the winners. She's right.
That's what I've been sitting here saying the whole time.
Right. So, okay. Anyway, let's get off that. Let's move on.
Yeah.
The group included dozens of people from the Israel United in Christ, a New York-based group associated with the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. The movement, not to be confused with the International Israelite Board of Rabbis, which embraces mainstream Jewish beliefs, had been designated a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. The group then convened directly outside the Barclays Center arena, distributing anti-Semitic flyers titled "The Truth About Anti-Semitism and the Truth About Slavery." When asked about the demonstration after the game, Irvin first said he was unaware of what had happened. When given more information by a reporter, Irvin declined to comment.
As he should.
I think that's a conversation for another day. I'm just here to focus on the game, he said. Boston Celtics star Jaylen Brown, who along with Irvin is a vice president of the NBA Players Association, retweeted a video of the group with the caption, "Energy." He later clarified that he was not aware of what specific group was in the video and was celebrating the unification of our people, welcoming the return of Kyrie to the court. He scored 14 points in 26 minutes in Sunday's game, saying afterward that it felt good to be back. Now we can move forward with the rest of the season, he added. When asked if he planned to file a grievance for his suspension, Irving did not directly answer. So that's meaning that file a grievance, I guess, to get some of that money back?
Just to complain about it in general. Just to if there's a way that he can dispute it within whatever their system is, however their business structure is, of course he should.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
Mm-hmm. I have some strong people, men and women around me that are going to do everything possible to make sure I'm protected and my family's protected and we protect one another. So I'm sure some things will be done in the future. Irving said, "There's no timetable on that right now." Irving was suspended for at least 5 games, November 3rd, days after he shared the film on Twitter and after considerable pressure from Jewish groups and others around sports. Nike also severed ties with Irving. The Nets had laid out a slate of remedial steps, and it's not actually the Nets. They say the Nets, but it's the person that owns the Nets, who's a Chinese man.
Remedial steps.
The star point guard would need to take in order to be reinstated. Among them was meeting with Jewish leaders, including the Anti-Defamation League, SU, which had been advising the Nets throughout the controversy. According to NBC News, the Nets praised Irving for his actions. What? Since the suspension. Kyrie took ownership of this journey and had, I'm tired of this. Let me finish reading it. Kyrie took ownership of this journey and had conversations with several members of the Jewish community. The team said in a statement, "We are pleased that he's going about the process in a meaningful way." One of the many Black Hebrew Israelite affiliated groups made its way from the U.S. to Dimona in the Negev Desert in the 1960s, and after decades of fraught relations with the government, is becoming increasingly integrated in Israeli society. I wonder why this was put here. I wonder why that was put there. One of the
Times of Israel staff contributed to this report. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Because they contributed to it.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is important to talk about, where it said that they outlined remedial steps.
Oh, it's a bunch of them. If you look online,
I've seen the steps,
the list, right?
But I'm saying remedial steps. That implies that these are baseline. This is something that's written in our Constitution for our business.
Mm-hmm.
We already have something identified for if some shit like this happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How true is that?
Yeah.
And if it is true, that's pretty problematic.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. It's an issue.
That's very problematic.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that they expect to happen? That they would outline something like that concerning anti-Semitic, comments or behaviors, whatever. So the Nets had laid out a slate of remedial steps the star point guard would need to take in order to be reinstated.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a problem.
That's all I'm saying. Look at these words, man. Y'all gotta listen to what the fuck these people are saying, why they're saying it, and what it's being applied to.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I'm not gonna get up on the soapbox, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit is bullshit when it comes to this, all of this crap. Well, sorry that happened to him.
It's always a choice.
These elite white people are gonna do what the fuck they want to do. So
it's always a choice. I mean, he's made enough money. You know what I'm saying?
More than enough,
right? And when it comes to that, I'm a little bit more on the Ice Cube tip. You know what I mean?
To just say no, fuck y'all.
Yeah, it is a thing of integrity. I don't know, man. I mean, I think part of the main problem, and I was listening to another YouTuber talk about this, where we are in a world where you can't say anything. It's an issue.
No freedom, no actual freedom of speech.
Right.
Well, this is the thing, right? And I think this should actually be this should be addressed at the federal level. If the Constitution says that we have freedom of speech, right? We also have the right to contract. Now, with the right to contract, when you go and sign up for something like Facebook, if Facebook says you can't talk that way here, is that unconstitutional?
No, because it's a contract, and you know that. But most people don't read what they sign up for anyway. So,
of course. Mm-hmm. But should it be considered unconstitutional? If even include something like that in a contract?
If it's a platform where there's business being performed, do we have to respect that business's wishes? Because a lot of times, especially with the black community, they get mad at certain things, and it's like, if you understand the power of your dollar, you don't have to deal with that.
Well, it's this though is certain certain restrictions and business practices can already be identified as unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
So is it unconstitutional to use the right to contract to outline anything that goes against
The law.
any other constitutional rights?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a question I think should
Well,
be
that's
asked.
that. That's the game that's played.
Of course, recourse and remedy with with legalese and all that bullshit. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, is anybody asking these questions on at a national level, at a federal level? I just question that. That's all.
Yeah, Lady Muse said very selective outrage indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but the power has to be allocated to oneself to understanding the individuals what makes the collective. It's not the collective. You don't start with the collective first. You start with the individual.
Right.
And an when you've amassed an amount of individuals that have a singular mindset, right? Because the problem is every black problem ends up having four other groups that jump on board to get
Yep.
some of that attention. So nothing gets done. You know what I mean?
And that's us letting them.
I don't think anybody lets anything. I think they just don't know better. A lot of people haven't been trained or reproved. A lot of people.
Well, our
Especially, that on
community, I'm
discipline.
saying, our community, I'm saying, we don't know to let our shit be ours.
I don't think most people care. I think that's the problem. I think I think because we're so fractured as a community. I was saying this to somebody recently in a comment, and they were like, "What do you mean the black community is doomed?" I'm like, "You're doomed unless you're able to see what's coming and make the adjustment." And I think that's the problem. Because everyone has so many different things that they want. The average black person just wants to be successful in some regard.
They want to be left alone.
Well, I beg to differ now because of social media.
Well, I mean, left alone, like
Yeah.
just to do
Yeah,
whatever it is
to
that
be,
they're
yeah,
doing. They
yeah.
want to be left alone.
That's
Let
that
me
I
mind
yeah.
my fucking business.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That the average black person, but a lot of them now they're looking to make a mark in some
Well,
capacity.
they're in a rat race
Yeah,
for likes and follows and
Yeah.
all of this crazy whatever
Yeah.
that shit is supposed to mean.
yeah. They want to make the money to be able to have the things.
Yeah.
It goes back to there's an old monologue in one of the August Wilson plays where um, it's called King Hedley the Second, and the woman protests about things. She says, "I don't want things." And the whole play, it's an amazing play because it's timely. It's still to this day the same type of thing because one of the monologues she gives talks about black men being killed and stuff like that. But the guy says he wants to get out there and make things happen. Give her stuff what she needs. I want to give you what you need. She's like, I don't want things. She basically just wants peace, pretty much. That's what she sums it up to.
Yeah.
And I think we have to get into the understanding of really what the average black person wants compared to their needs. And most of them feel like if they have these things, then they're successful.
Oh, because that's what we're told, right? The American dream.
Does that even exist anymore for anybody?
Well, they don't call it the American dream anymore, but
Mhm.
the ideal is still outlined.
Coming up,
Right. Everybody thinks they
leveling
got to
up.
buy a house. Everybody thinks they got to buy a car. Everybody thinks, all of these different things. You got to have a certain type of clothes, a certain
Mhm.
level of everything. They
Mhm.
think they have to live by.
Mhm.
Really, you don't.
Yeah. So I think that's where it starts, man. Re-educating people. It's just tough, man. Media. We're up against media.
It's a tough road to haul for our community specifically, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're the ones we're 100% religious about a lot of the shit that we want.
Mm-hmm.
rather than the things that we do need.
But I think a lot of them confuse that. They confuse their needs with their wants and their wants with their
Name
needs.
brand whores, and man, the list is it's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
It's very exhausting. You know, I love to sit and build about it and rap about it, but you know, it is exhausting when it comes to breaking down what it is that's going on with our community and what we need collectively. You know, it's hard to just start with the individual when everyone in our community is looking to be an individual, or a majority of us are looking to be individuals. That's the biggest problem in our community. We don't accept a baseline of things unless it has to do with foolery. You know, the way that we make collard greens, or the way that the mac and cheese is supposed to be made, nigga. What about the way that we run our businesses? What about the way that we teach our children? What about the way that we mobilize when other communities or entities and forces look to go after us? You know, we don't have specific ways that we mobilize around that kind of shit.
Yeah,
other than maybe marching used to be the thing.
Listen,
and that's useless
like,
in my opinion.
Like I said, the one thing that I loved about that whole thing, seeing with the Kyrie Irving, was seeing black men being proactive.
Well, they got together and did something.
Yeah.
But even that is not as widespread. That's not widely agreed upon in our community anymore, is what I'm saying.
Man,
at least it was something sure.
Most black people don't even know what to be offended about anymore.
Nope.
You know, and then we have a split in between the sexes. You know,
individuals.
Yeah,
like I said.
Yeah. Not realizing that there's an issue with certain things. You know, because we're so desensitized. You know, like I said in a previous show, I remember seeing for the first time seeing what they did during, you know, the Rodney King, and they just kept showing it over and over and over and over again. The stuff that they show today was never shown on television.
It wasn't allowed.
It wasn't allowed. And then we also didn't have internet, so you couldn't see videos like that.
And rated for teen 50 years ago is completely different from rated for teen today.
Yeah. To see a lot of black people say lighten up.
Yeah.
You know, lighten up. Well, it's not that serious. What do you think that comes from? What do you think that is?
Integration. What the fuck do they call them? Not intergender. Interracial relationships.
No. When you said integration, that listen.
I know you know what that outlines, but for those who don't know exactly how deep that gets, integration is, we're talking interracial relationships, and that's, you know, whatever people think that that love whoever you want to love and all of that kind of bullshit, but not enough of us in our community love one another, and we're the only community in the world that is that way.
Yeah.
The only community in the world that is that way. We're the only community in the world who gets demonized for saying, "Well, I only fuck with black people." I have paperwork right now. You know, I saved all my reprimands and shit from the military. I have reprimands about that shit from when I was in the military, because I was like, nigga, fuck these white people. I said, for niggas out there, because there was a video that I had posted that outlined atrocities committed against the black community since like the 1600s, and the way that they used to treat us, you know, explorers, colonizers, nigga, who showed up, and the way that they would treat us in our communities. And I outlined, or excuse me, I said, nigga, this is for all you niggas out there sleeping with white women, all the black women out there who 100% choose to only sleep with white men. And I just, you know, whatever my rant was, I went on a fucking rant. And obviously I was written up for that. My way of expressing that was more extreme than the average black person who says, well, I only want to mate with those who look like me. You know,
that's not much different than what Muhammad Ali had said one time.
He meant it.
Did you ever see his interview when he talked about that? You know, and it was, you know, of course it had that lightness and the humor with it, because the interviewer, he was just boggled by Muhammad saying what he
Of
was
course.
saying, but um, he broke it down to the base of birds. He's like, you see little birds of a feather.
A blue jay is fucking with blue jays, nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Blue jays are
I,
fucking
I,
with
I
blue
think
jays.
I think people get offended because for them to be excluded, no one likes
But
to be
it's
excluded.
not exclusion.
Mhm.
It's okay for you to have, what do they call them? You have your fucking tribe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have the right.
We're tribal by culture, by nature.
Yeah, I
as
have the
human
right
beings, yeah.
to want to enjoy my fucking tribe, dude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
100% have the right to want to enjoy my tribe.
Yeah.
My tribe is black
Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
black men, black
Mhm.
women.
Mhm.
I don't have to care about the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that I'm gonna show up and I see a white kid with an ice cream and I slap that shit out of his hand? No, I'm not doing that, nigga. But do I have to care that you're enjoying that ice cream in my presence? No, I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I care about the black kids in my community. I care about the black women in my community, the black men in my community. I don't give a fuck about everybody else. I don't have to. And it's not bad for me to say that. It's not bad for me to want to see us elevate from where we've been stuck at for centuries now. Where we've been stuck at here. And then, even more fucked up, go and look at South Africa. It's insane. I have friends from the military from over the years that we met. Some of them went back to South Africa, some of them stayed here. Go and look at how identical the systematic issues are there. They're going through right now what we went through in the 60s and 70s. No one thinks that's by design. No one thinks that's a problem. All the way on the other side of the world, we, or people who look like us, are being treated the exact same fucking way. And it's having the exact same effects in their communities. Interesting, isn't it? And this is something that's verifiable. I'm not making this shit up. It's not conjecture.
No,
go Google it. Go look.
Yeah, you can see it on Instagram.
Go fucking look.
It's there. I just think that people are at a space where they're just, you said it, man, the individual, they care mostly about themselves, and I would say that a lot of that comes from the loss of community.
Well, yeah, loss of community, because then it turns into self-preservation when you see that your community is being destroyed, and there was no chance of us getting out of this.
The one thing that the black church did give people, as much as people hate it now or they don't believe it and they despise it, it gave community. It gave a place for people to see each other, to work together, to do things together. Just like radio, black radio was the way that people found out about what to do and how to mobilize and what was going on.
Who's doing what in our community?
Those forms are gone. They're gone. And that's the issue. Sometimes the things that people dread the most were the things that help keep things going. So, probably, hell, now you can go to a school and they have after-school programs with Satanism. That just happened recently. This is not a call for religion. This is just helping people to see the truth in things. There has to be a way for people to have community.
To come together and say, wow, this is what we agree on.
It has to be. I mean, look, man.
And it's got to be about more than just food. It's got to be about more than just clothes and the way that niggas dress or whatever it is. We got to, nigga, talk about structure.
Yeah.
Talk about our fucking mobility.
Building.
You know what I'm saying? Talk about our collective finances, nigga. I'm only shopping. I'm only buying clothes from so and so up the street because that nigga makes good t-shirts.
Yeah, remember I think I
don't
told
need
you
a
that
Nike
one
shirt.
time.
About the Asians and or whatever that was. Yeah.
Italian guy told me that. No,
I don't like the way that nigga cuts his hair, and I don't like the way he looks at my wife, but he's in my community. And he sells shirts. Go to his store. Because that's going to keep our dollar circulating within our community.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
You think people should be more up in arms about the Kyrie thing? Or because, listen, especially
it's just another public castration. There's more than enough of that happening in their local community.
Mm-hmm.
The way that their husbands are being treated, the way that their sons are being treated, the way that their daughters are being treated, the way that the wives are being treated, you know, at work, you know, mobilize there. Start at your local level. I will always say that. There's nothing we can do for Kyrie in totality.
Yeah, no, I mean he's paid. He's good.
He's fun.
Like I said, I would be something totally different in that situation.
Of course,
but then I'm not there and I'm not him. So
of course, but you know, it has to start at your local level. You got to do something different. You know, you want to get up in arms about what you see on TV, and you know, shout out to my boy Jovan. You know, he's I ain't gonna say where he's at. Where he's Northern California. Very often, he and I have very aligned views on what it is that our people are getting upset about, based on what they see on TV. If you're that upset,
then do something.
Get off of fucking Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yo, your entire community is right in front of you. If you're that upset about whatever it is, go do something in your community. Fuck that you seen George Floyd just got killed. That's one nigga. You know in your area plenty of black men and women who have been killed. Nobody stood up.
Yeah.
Nobody stood up.
Yeah.
Why do we have to mobilize behind who was the last nigga in the news? Whoever the last major one that everybody paid attention to. Sure, we can pay attention to that one, but what about the many in your area?
That's what's going on with Shanquilla. Like,
yeah, and you know, respect to her and her family. No disrespect to them at all. But what about that same story that happened locally to you, in your community, near you?
Yeah, the girl or the guy that got killed by cops or beat up.
Yeah,
by other people.
within a 20-minute drive.
Yeah,
from where you live.
Because there's people. Listen, like I said, you know, there's people.
The children getting abducted every day.
Yeah. You know, just recently, Pink Book Lessons had this thing going. I let my brother hear it yesterday about a mother that killed her own son, shot her son. 40-some-odd-year-old woman got mad at her son because he came home from work and she wanted weed and alcohol. He wouldn't go get it.
I seen that, yeah. Man.
She shot her own son twice in the head. You know, Keith was like, "How did he live?" I was like, "It might have been a lower caliber gun, but obviously he died 2 weeks later."
Yeah, it doesn't matter. She did something outrageous. You shot at your son over some silliness. I think I told you the story. I won't say who it was in my family. Okay, but the woman was pregnant. The father of the children had just got off of work. She said, I want some fried fish. It's 2 a.m. Yeah. I'm trying to get some fried fish, nigga. You gonna fry this fish? I got you, baby. Just let me, you know, nigga, 12 hours. Let me go shower. I got you. Nah, nigga, right now. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Nigga, right now, I need this fried fish. Baby, I just, you know, let me get it. Let me get
decompress.
Let me get it off me real quick. Let me go shower. Starts tripping. Goes outside in front of the neighbors. They had just moved to the good area. Screaming and acting crazy. And he picked her up, walked her back in the house, and as she's going crazy, her earring gets caught in his beard. And it tears a little bit, just enough to draw blood. Not even enough for her to get a keloid. Just enough to draw blood. Just calm down. I get fine, whatever. He's frying the fish. The police show up. And the moment they open the door, this nigga done got me. Going crazy. Fried fish? This is my family. More importantly, this is our community.
In the whole, yeah.
This is in the 90s that happened. So eventually, this man he's about to get paroled. About a year or two later, whatever it was. Or it might have been within 6 months. I'd have to ask him. He's in the back of the parole car. They got whatever cell phones they had in the 90s.
Block phones.
Yeah, you feel me? Calls the woman calls the cop and says, "Oh, he's banging." She's banging on something. "Oh, he's at my door. He's trying to get," because she knew that this nigga's about to get paroled. And the parole officer has him in the back of her car.
Mm-hmm.
So don't even worry about it. I know that you're right here, obviously, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's our community.
Yeah.
Whether that's black men to black women,
black women
or
to
black
men.
women to black men,
Mm-hmm.
we're all doing something outrageous to one another that doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, if the two people, or if anybody in my family who knows who that is, don't hit me up on no bullshit, nigga, because I will block your ass. Because I don't care.
Isaac. Scott, how you doing? Joan said, we'll get close to ending off on that.
Yeah.
She said, I don't believe in the American dream because the American dream is built on a real nightmare for so many.
Factual.
That's very true. That's very true. Well, I'm seeing in the new year, I'm going to do some research. We're going to have to readdress this slavery thing.
Yeah, sure.
Because
just black history.
and Antonio and I are never in disagreement on things, but
our studies are completely different.
Well, yeah, but you know, truth is what truth is, and when you get to a place of having a serious split, there's a thing of you question yourself. For me, it's not question your studies. I need to figure out some more, so that way, because that's me. I like to know for a fact. Like I've always been like that. I was always the type of cat that loved murder mysteries and mystery movies. You know what I mean?
I go to sleep watching Forensic Files.
Right, because I want to know. So that makes me feel good that if something happens to me, you're going to figure out what happened.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
He's going to know. He's going to be like, because there's no way that this guy could have gotten over on seafood.
I'll have to tell the story one of these days from the C-19 era.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, when the week that my grandmother, within 2 weeks of my grandmother passed, and I have to tell you guys about that, because they have only two of us can be in here. One of y'all removed me. You know what I'm saying? I went in for my grandma, man, and I'll share that story one of these days. But as far as the niggas around me who I fuck with, if you die, let there be some bullshit.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Especially, I mean, they got to be first off.
I don't play about that.
They have to be something amazing, you know. Unless I just slipped and bumped my head and died, you know what I'm saying? And it was time to go. That's what I always say about time to go. If it's time to go, it's time to go. It doesn't matter who or where or what the situation, circumstance is. It's time to go. It's time to go. But
right.
I am very big on mysteries and stuff. I like. One of these days, I'll let you take a look at this the script I wrote about murder mystery. It's really good.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really good. I'd love for the dream role would be to have Denzel and his son play opposite each other.
You would have his son?
Yeah, because the thing is I'd be behind the helm.
His dad would probably make him better.
His dad would get him out too.
He would make him better.
So
He's
between, well,
we can talk about that another day. But that nigga's not a good actor.
But there's some things he's got towards his dad that he can use for the script.
I was gonna say because and I think he's not good because he has large shoes to fill.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and he hates that.
He should.
But it's like, hey,
but
man,
he should do something about it.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
That's my point.
Do something about it.
You know, the way cats like us are, you know, who would we be in that situation with the drive and the thought process we have now? You think about like it for me, doing things at a higher level and raising the bar is never with competition with others. It's just with self.
100%.
Right.
The way that I was about music, and we kind of dwindling down, but the way I was about music, I learned how to rap listening to Mac Dre.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear that. I hear
so
that.
all of my early songs,
Yeah, I hear that.
I
I hear the influence.
I sound exactly like him.
Right, but you're not alone though. I mean,
tone and voice.
Look,
and
a lot of
all
cats,
of that.
a lot of cats in the game. You know, they.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's somebody that they sound like. But I mean, I sounded everything. My cadence didn't matter what the beat was
Delivery,
like. I'm
rhythm,
coming off exactly like him.
Tone.
And I got tired of people going, "Wow, man, you sound exactly like Mac Dre." I was like, "Well, nigga, I love Mac Dre. I'm a huge fan, but nigga, I want to be me."
Right.
So I went and did the work to not sound like him. I don't sound like that nigga no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At all. I don't rap like him. None of that
No,
shit.
of course not. Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
But I did something about it. Is what I'm saying. That. So
Yeah.
Denzel's son will probably never hear us, but nigga,
Never know.
Just go ahead and do something about it.
Never know. And I'm pretty sure he, if he wants to stay in the game, because eventually,
and he's a shoe in just because.
Well, eventually everybody is exposed in some capacity when it comes to your talent. I've seen some of the dopest.
You get that star and roll, and you be trash.
Yeah. I've seen some of the most dopest studio performers get on stage and just not bring it. Or vice versa.
Singers?
Yeah, singers. Yeah, not bring it. You know what I mean? And so on the actor tip, I know that well. Absolutely, it's a specific role that exposes you eventually. It really does. Yeah. And that's when you start to learn. I'm not what I thought I was. And so even the greatest eventually play themselves in certain roles.
Yeah, you got to know when it's time to hang it up, man. So to that, knowing when it's time to hang it up, thank everybody for tuning in the day before Thanksgiving. I know y'all niggas is cooking and salivating right now. You know what I'm saying?
They're sitting on the couch rubbing their stomach because they got the day off.
Yeah, whatever it is, rub your hands together, nigga, and get ready to enjoy tomorrow. Have some water, walk. Don't just sit down and be a fat ass. Make sure you're good to yourself. I'm going to be real. You know what I'm saying? It's a terrible holiday for our health as a community. So just make sure y'all take care of yourselves. I ain't gonna rain on your parade, nigga. Enjoy them greens. You know what I'm saying? Thank everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, no doubt.
It does mean a lot.
No doubt.
Because all we gonna do is just keep pushing. So
that's it. We'll be back next Tuesday, our normal time schedule next week.
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Yeah. Looking forward to it. Everybody have a good holiday weekend. See you next week.
God bless you all, man. Yeah. You got it, man.
Muscles on this lonely pack. I stay calm and fat. I've been on the grind so long, hoes could never call me.
Thank you, Steve Call. Same to you, brother.
I don't speak for all the rap. I'm your mechanic. I don't want no parts of whack. Keep throwing darts and wax.
Love you, Joan.
Melt you. Every beat got a birthday. I just make it special. If you can't
Joan, you cooking?
Maybe we
you doing something?
Have me bring the doses and show you where your shoes at. Exactly where the proof at.
You know what I'm saying?
Very big on cooking.
I can see that.
Blue black, straight from where the news at. Life-size showdown. Story
she's
I
old
survived.
school, man.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah, she's one of her dad was a Tuskegee Airman.
So I could get it in when it's out. Ain't no accidents for real.
She's very big on that. She goes to all those events.
Please stop.
So me and her should definitely have a conversation.
I've seen her go at people because they would say something crazy and she'd be like, "Oh hell no!" She's like, in her house.
Yeah.
All his information, and she's very big on ancestry.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I do this for real.